Hello, I'm your Dungeon Master, Jmar, and this is my storybook telling of our journey through the Dungeon and Dragons adventure of the Dragon of Icespire Peak. In the cozy Stonehill Inn, a band of unlikely heroes gathered for the first time. They had come from different walks of life, but they shared a common goal, to defeat the Dragon of Icespire Peak. Little did they know that their fates were intertwined with the destiny of Phandalin, a humble mining town in the shadow of the great city of Neverwinter. Their adventure was about to begin. First, we encounter our fierce fighter, a master of the bow who strikes with deadly precision and grace. Jarvan had always dreamed of following the footsteps of his father and grandfather, who had died in the service of Neverwinter. He was barely 19 when he completed his grueling military training and joined his unit. He quickly bonded with his fellow soldiers who appreciated his crude humor and protective nature. When the call came from Phandalin, Jarvan and his squad did not hesitate. They marched towards the town ready to face any danger, but they were not prepared for the horrors that awaited them. A sudden blast of ice shards rained down on them from all directions, piercing their flesh and armor. Jarvan watched in horror as his friends fell one by one, frozen and bloody. He tried to fight back, but his sergeant ordered him to retreat. Jarvan refused. He wanted to stay and die with his comrades, but his sergeant pushed him away, sacrificing himself to save Jarvan. As Jarvan stumbled back, he saw a massive white dragon swoop down and unleash a blast of ice that instantly killed his sergeant. Jarvan ran for his life. Filled with rage and fear, he swore to avenge his friends, to make that dragon pay. He reached Phandalin alone and exhausted. He left a trail of blood behind him as he entered the inn. He collapsed at the entrance, his strength finally giving out. He woke up a few days later, in the bed upstairs. He had been tended by a kind innkeeper who told him he was lucky to be alive. Jarvan got up feeling numb and empty. He had to regroup himself to find a way to kill the dragon. He had nothing else to live for. And then we encounter our charismatic bard, a rock star of words and passion who dazzles us with her clever wit and seductive charm. Mayhem was born into a world where music and magic were one of the same. A world where her tiefling blood gave her an edge over the mundane masses. She was an heiress to a legendary family of musicians who dazzled the crowd with their incredible talent and mesmerizing performances. But her world was shattered when her arch-nemesis, Melvin the Malevolent, a vile and envious rival, slaughtered her family in cold blood, hoping to steal their fame and fortune. Mayhem was left alone, heartbroken and furious. She swore to honor her family's legacy and prove that she was metal as hell. She embarked on a quest to gain enough fame and power to face Melvin and make him pay for his crimes. With her trusty electric violin in hand, she rocked the world with her music, leaving a trail of awe and admiration behind her. She ended up in an inn in Phandalin, drawn by the rumors of a dragon, a challenge that sparked her curiosity. And next, we meet our ominous warlock, whose pact with his deceased twin sister grants him fearsome power over steel and sorcery. Cinreal and his twin sister Saldana survived on the streets of Waterdeep until they were snatched by a necromancer's minions. Their twins became guinea pigs for a twisted experiment to forge a sentient weapon from Shadowfell magic. The necromancer's trail of corpses and missing people alerted the local holy warriors, who raided his hideout and interrupted his dark ritual. Sin reached for Saldana in the midst of the battle, but a blast of magic tore her soul from her body and fused it with his, making him a vessel for Shadowfell power. A paladin of Lalthadar rescued Sin and took him as his apprentice, but Sin rebelled against the rigid dogma of the Order. As soon as he felt confident in his magic and blade, he left to seek adventure and fortune as a caravan guard. Next, we encounter our socially awkward druid, a mystery wrapped in enigma who unleashes his savage and lethal wild shapes when danger strikes. Traumakar's past was shrouded in mystery, but he had always lived in harmony with nature. One day as he wandered through the Neverwinter forest, he stumbled upon a wolf ensnared by a vicious and cruel trap. He rushed to free the creature when Mayhem appeared on the scene. She was heartbroken by the sight of the wounded animal and offered to help. Traumakar caught a whiff of the poacher's trail and decided to track them down with Mayhem. They hunted them like prey and made sure they would never harm another beast in such a way again. After their daring escapade, they chose to stick together, finding a unique bond in their contrasting personalities. Then we encounter a nimble monk who can inflict a flurry of strikes with his fist, but display mercy with his fist to mend his allies. After witnessing his best friend's demise on the battlefield, Zavad was consumed by a burning thirst of vengeance. He wandered aimlessly and alone until a monk from the Way of the Mercy found him and taught him how to transform his rage into something useful. The monk instructed him to obey orders without questions and to harness the fear instead of letting it paralyze him. But Zavad's lust for revenge still smoldered in his heart, and he was ready to do anything to quench it, even if it meant breaking his vow as a monk. He knew he had to wait for the right moment to strike, but he bided his time as he traveled the land. He sharpened his skill as a monk and sought allies who could help him fulfill his purpose. He was tormented by the memory of his friend's death, but he found comfort in the thought that he was doing all he could to prevent it from happening again. And then we encounter our shadowy dragonborn sorcerer who shrouds himself in darkness and wields unknown magic. Eminence was a thief of honor and skill, until fate turned him into a sorcerer. He grew up in Oakhurst, scraping by on his stolen goods and shady deals. He never hurt anyone in his heist, but he saw no other way to survive. That changed the day he crossed paths with Falasal, the half-elf constable. She caught him red-handed in the general store and called for backup. As 2 guards pinned him down, Eminence felt a surge of power in his veins. One of the coin he had snatched was tainted by Shadowfell, and it awakened a latent magic within him. He unleashed a firebolt, startling the guards and breaking free. He grabbed his sash and fled to town. He wandered until he found Phandalin, where he vowed to never be caught again and to master his new gift. He hid his loot on the outskirts and headed for the inn. And here we are, our band of brave adventurers, united by a fate and fortune, set off to the town board where they hope to find daring quests that will reward them with glory, gold, and much-needed experience to get ready to face off against Cryovane. As our heroes approach the town board, they see 3 quests posted by Harbin Wester, the town master of Phandalin. One of them, Umbridge Hill, reads, Adabra Gwyn, a midwife and follower of Shanti, the goddess of agriculture, lives in solitude in a stone windmill on a hillside, a few miles south of here. She has been tending to the wounded and sick for years, but now she faces a new danger. A white dragon has been spotted in the area and it could attack her at any moment. She refuses to leave her home, but we need her safe and sound in Phandalin. Persuade her to come with you and bring her back to town. Once she is secure, return to me and I will reward you for your services. The second quest on the board leads you to a mountain southeast of Phandalin, where a clan of reclusive rock gnomes dwell in a hidden network of caves. The gnomes of Gnomengard are famed for their magical inventions, and they have just the thing to slay the dragon. Venture into the underground layer and persuade them to share their secrets with you. If you find something useful and willing to part with it, the town master will reward you handsomely for your efforts. And yet, the third quest on the board takes you to the mountains southwest of Phandalin, where 2 dwarven prospectors have stumbled upon an ancient dwarven ruin. They have started an archaeological dig, hoping to uncover treasures and relics of a lost civilization. But now they are unaware of the danger that lurks nearby. The white dragon has moved into the area, and it could attack them at any moment. Hurry to the ruin and warn them of the peril, then come back and claim the reward. Not wanting to waste any time, our heroes took all 3 quests and headed for Umbridge Hill, where the midwife Adabra Gwyn awaited them. As our heroes neared the windmill, they sensed a looming danger. 2 fearsome manticores, a parent and a cub, were prowling outside the windmill, trying to break in. Inside, they could hear Adabra's terrified cries. Without hesitation, our brave adventurers sprang into action. The manticores put up a fierce fight, challenging our group's first ever battle together, but our heroes worked well as a team, coordinating their attacks and defenses. Jarvan, hoping to end the conflict without any more bloodshed, corners the cub manticore and threatens to kill it as a bluff. The father manticore roars in fury and charges at Jarvan, unleashing a barrage of claws and spikes. The fight drags on until Mayhem steps up and declares that their group is going to slay the dragon. The manticore pauses. Surprised by the revelation, he explains that they came here because they needed healing for the cub and food, since Cryovane, the white dragon, drove them out of their home. Cryovane is the manticore's mortal enemy, and he is willing to make truce with the group. Jarvan heals the cub's wounded leg, and the manticore promises to help the group when they face Cryovane, seeking revenge for his lost territory. Having dealt with the Manticores, our heroes tried to convince Adabra to come back to Phantom with them, but she was adamant that her work was too important and that she needed the windmill to produce her potions. She handed them a letter, stating her refusal to leave and asking for some guards to protect her if they were so concerned about her. She also thanked them for their service and offered to sell them some of her potions, promising to keep doing so as long as she stayed at the windmill. With a farewell to Adabra, our heroes left the windmill and completed their first quest together. As they traveled to their next adventure, they reminisced about their encounter with the Manticores and relaxed with some games of chance and storytelling. Their next destination was a dwarven excavation, where they hoped to find some ancient secrets. Hey, if you've enjoyed watching our content, don't forget to smash that like button, drop a comment, and hit that subscribe bell. You can also catch us live on Twitch every Sunday at 5 p.m. Eastern to watch the live session of Dragon of Icespire Peak with myself and my wife, who plays as Mayhem. And if you missed that live stream, don't worry, we'll upload the playthroughs on YouTube every Wednesday. I hope you've enjoyed. Thank you.